Well, I think it's going to be an exciting competition, I believe. Um, but I guess it's first and foremost, like you mentioned, Stace. It's good to be back on the podcast. It has been a while, but yeah, it really did take me a long time to get over that Mickey Mouse of a tournament, the Trans Tasman, whatever championship title you want to call that. Yeah. Anyway, let's moving on. Um, Still rings a few chords here, but North Harbour, I believe, are going to be. They finished last year, but I think if anything, they've got an exciting. They had an exciting competition. Takapuna fell short to uh, North Shore. They took it out. It was quite a low scoring premiership final, but they've got an exciting new bunch of guys coming through. But at the same time, there's a lot of stalwarts in there that are going to fill in a lot of the experience that's required. Kautunu Kuawhiu, how much time does he get involvement with that, with his All Blacks duties? But you've still got guys that are like Bryn Gatlin, Bryn Hall, um, and those guys are going to be leading the charge for the North Harbour team to hopefully come off the bottom and make some progress up that table, and who knows, maybe try and vie for a place in the Premiership. But the team that I'm going to be going for, that I'm supporting this year and have done so for the last few years, is Counties Manukau. Counties Manukau Steelers. So, and looking at their team, I'm really excited about the inclusion of Wallaby stalwart and Centurion Sekopikipu. And I think obviously there's excitement around what Super Rugby is going to look like next year. So there's a lot of guys that are trying to vie for places in the Super Rugby teams. Not only our traditional ones that we know of, the five, but then we've got Moana Pacifica as well. So Moana Pacifica is going to be looking at some of the players that are trying to garner as much of a good roster and experience. And I think Sekopikipu, I don't know too much about it, but he could be in the running to sort of lead the charge from the front in terms of experience in that forward pack. So, yeah, but Counties got a lot of them are all club players. The Luteru Laulala, Jared Halloway, looking at guys like who are other ones? I'm just looking off the back. Joe Royal, Mark Royal. The Royal brothers. I know Joe was playing in the Auckland comp, but Mark was playing out of Ardmore Marist, and they fell short in their championship final to Karaka, who have won the title there for the first time in 80 odd years. So well done to Karaka. But yeah, you've got some exciting talent coming um, through the club ranks here, but then you've also got some international players in the likes of Etene Nanai Seturo coming through, and Auburn Ledger, who's had some Super Rugby experience as well. So they've got a pretty good. And Hoskins is a big talking point as well. Not required or has left the blue and white hoops for the trusty old red and black and white hoops of Counties Manukau. So that should be an interesting outfit and see how he fits in to that setup there. And looking forward to them doing better than their sixth place finish in the 2020 edition. So Counties Manukau for mine. We don't normally support. You don't normally support Counties Manukau unless you got a few Blues players in there. And it's like it's taking me back to 1996, 97 when you 1996, 97 when there was some other Counties Manukau players running around. No, they should do well. And I think Dalton Papali'i, I think there's been, as well as, there's also quite a bit of a traffic jam with loose forwards at in the Auckland system. So I mean, it might give Alton Papali a bit more space to, have a bit more free reign in the likes of Hoskins. And I guess the loose forwards coming out of the Counties Manukau team and through their club system as well, they can only learn so much off um, a couple of incumbent All Blacks as well being in the mix. So I think it's going to breed quite a competitive environment for them, but also one that they'll be learning greatly from the likes of the Papali'i and Hoskins, as well as Seko Pekipu coming in from, having proven international track records. It'll be interesting to see how Canterbury progressed through. They won the Super Aotearoa. Didn't feature in the final for the Trans-Tasman Mickey Mouse Super Rugby competition. But they finished, interestingly enough, they finished fifth in the Premiership last year. So I think, if anything, they'll be looking at using this with the group of players that they've got. And largely, you got Tom Christie in there, a lot, not sure. And Waisake Naholo, that will be an interesting one. With his inclusion, I know a lot of Highlanders and Otago folk were probably unhappy with his coming home but going north as opposed to further south to the blue and gold. But he's going to feature with Canterbury. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with the Canterbury team and whether what that means in terms of going to Super Rugby next year for the likes of Waisake. Looking forward to seeing George Bridge if he gets time with them, but highly unlikely with with All Blacks honours. Braden Enoa, given his injury woes over the last year or so, he might get some time with the red and black. But you got guys like Tom Christie who should be trying to ply their trade even further to push for those higher honours. But Mitchell Dunshea as well, Mitchell Drummond. So they've got a lot of the. There's a few guys coming through, but then guys that have been there and in the last few seasons or more. So I'm looking to see whether they will be able to progress and get further up that ladder table. But the team that I'm looking to see will be Bay of Plenty. They came third last year, but they've got an inclusion. Obviously, they've got Kirk England coming back, Eklund, Mitch Karpick, who's fallen off the radar with the Super Rugby, let alone higher honours in that, because he was touted for bigger things, and who knows, this could be a season for him to do well in and push for regular game time at Super Rugby level. Otera Black, before he jumps across to Japan, is going to be steering the ship there at first five. Caleb Trask from the Chiefs. You got Sean Wainui, Joe Webber. There's a Chase Tiatia as well. So he's got good class in the backs. Looking to see Chase Tiatia do really well and see whether he can get another berth at Super Rugby level. But he's exciting. He's in his mid-20s. So he's still young enough to command a spot in Super Rugby and the skill set that he showed, not only with the Hurricanes the season before, but with the Chiefs this year. I believe he'll go well in Bay of Plenty at the Steamers. And to see whether the likes of Te Toiroa, Tahuriorangi can command a spot again with the Chiefs, let alone the All Blacks after this year. But all in all, I think Bay of Plenty should challenge for the title. But I believe Auckland, I know Stace, you probably am amazed that I'm going to even mention Auckland in the top, but I believe Auckland, they were runners up last year and unlucky, I believe, because they had a slow start, but then they started to find their feet and do really well. Obviously, with the media outpour of Roger Tuivas Sheck fans coming in, it'd be interesting to see how he goes in the 15-man code and where he finds to be comfortable in the back line, and whether that's at fullback or on wing. I think there was footage of him playing under 18s Blues come out, especially last year when there was a call for him to consider rugby and when the rumours were going around. It'll be interesting to see Caleb Clark's involvement in the NPC as well. especially vying for places in if there's going to be any end of year tour, or whether there's place for him to sort of squeeze back in before being involved in any of the Bledisloe matches starting off this week, but coming back from Japan. Players I'm looking forward to seeing getting regular game time is Nicol Jones, having played pretty much a full season out of the Waitemata Rugby Club this year, and he was a standout, young, um, really abrasive, hard running number 8, number 7 player, and it's just amazing to be able to witness a young man of his talent come through the club, and then obviously trying to get a chance at NPC and higher honours. So hopefully Nicol can get some game time with the blue and white, because I believe he deserves it. He was unfortunate he didn't finish the club season. He sustained a little bit of an injury on the knee, but I believe he's come right and will have had the rest and recuperation to be able to put in a good season for the Auckland team. Adrian Chode again, hopefully he can aim high. He had a really good season last year with the Auckland team, and which rewarded him with a wider super contract with the Blues, and then became a regular feature throughout the season and got that first start in their first match for Super Aotearoa this year. So, yeah, Adrian Choate is going to be looking at sort of improving on what he already had, a stellar season. So, and who knows, Scott Scrafton back in the Auckland colours there. He could, again, he's a bolter of mine, long-term bolter that could see some time in the black jersey in the future. 2023 is not too far away, and a lot of these players will be trying to look at the World Cup. And Alex Hodgeman, after the disappointment of not being selected in the All Blacks for the mid-year tests, I think he'll be out there to prove a point as well. But Auckland, don't know what's going on there and what's caused the loss of a few of the players down to Counties Manukau and Hoskins and Dalton Papali'i. Hopefully it's just something to do with them looking for pure opportunity, and there's a lot of player movement around that right throughout the championship, and it's not the first, and nor is it going to be the last that we see movement of players between unions. Angelo Tuitavuki for Hawke's Bay. So Angelo was a young Tongan boy, was schooling out west, I believe, West Auckland, and then an opportunity come up down in the Hawke's Bay. He was playing a few games, played a bit of the season with the Waitemata out west as well, and then picked up an opportunity down there, and he's been just trying to apply his trade down there and work slowly and progressing through. So he's in there. He's in there at the moment. So, and I think he didn't get too much game time last year, but I think hopefully this year he gets a bit more of opportunity and exposure, and hopefully show what he can do as a winger. He's an out winger, but I think he's probably can play centre in the inside as well. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he goes down there. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how a guy like Waisake Naholo introduces himself back into NPC New Zealand rugby after a couple of seasons overseas. And, he was probably, some people would argue that, his All Black tenure was coming to an end when he did go. But to see whether he can push for a claim in the black jersey again, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it'll be just interesting to see how his form is, and the Waisake Naholo that we remember, and he was, he had his own song down in Otago, so whether he can capture that kind of form again, it'll be interesting to see. But for Wellington, you mentioned Wellington, Ruben Love, he had a bit more game time towards the back end of the Super Aotearoa and Tasman seasons, Trans-Tasman seasons, but yeah, he's quite a talent, and compared to a lot of people compared him to a Christian Cullen mould. So, but one that can play first five as well as fullback. So hopefully NPC will have a bit more time and space as opposed to Super Rugby level, and we can actually see the true skill and the talent that is Ruben Love. So yeah, he's another one that I believe will become a future an All Black in the future, whether the time is now or in a couple more years. Again, leading towards that 2023 Rugby World Cup, Ruben Love definitely, I believe, should feature.